Alright guys, as you can see, I put in some just some copper strap holders basically to hold up the PEX pipe. You know, same things that you use for regular copper pipe. And I kind of bent them so that I could put this on the outside of the stud like this. And that would turn the water off and this would turn the water on. And like I said, that's just a safety thing to keep, you know, if I want to shut the water so you can't turn it on outside, all I'd have to do is just open my garage door and turn it on when I want to use it in the spring. This water line is just for a spring, summer, and then I'll blow it out with an air compressor for the winter. You know, because it would freeze in here because I'm not insulated and I don't need it in the winter. So now we got to go back over. So our run, basically, we got to tie into the spigot, which is down in here. So I think the next thing that we'll do is we'll tie into the spigot. Alright guys, now we're at the point where we're going to solder up the faucet. First thing we want to do is clean up all our parts. So I'm just going to brush these off. I already cleaned this piece. It's just a piece of copper. And this little piece here goes from copper to PEX. So hopefully you can see that. And we'll clean that out as well. Just brushing these, or you can use an emery cloth. We're going to flux everything up. Just a little bit of flux on here. Flux is going to help that solder flow a little bit. This paste is a little bit old. I don't know if it goes bad or what. I'm just trying to get it on there. Flux up this piece of pipe. And like I said, the flux helps to prepare the copper so that the solder will flow nicely. And this is the inside of the spigot. The pipe actually fits right in there. It's easier to solder it on the ground than it is in the wall, particularly if you don't want to burn your shed down. So we'll put our copper in there, and then we'll put in our PEX fitting. Just going to leave a little bit of space so that I can get the I can see the copper and I can get the solder in there. Here's my solder, and I'm going to be using MAP gas to actually get this thing set up. So we're just going to light the torch. I usually just use a lighter like that. I'll crank that up. We're going to get it nice and hot, and then we're going to apply the solder once we're heated up. I'm doing it on this wood, basically so that I don't stain up my concrete. Once we get it hot enough, our solder should flow here. Alright, we're just starting to get hot enough so it's flowing. And you just want to make sure that your solder goes all the way around. I'm going to add a lot. And that's about what it should take. So we'll turn this torch off. And we'll let that cool down. It's also a good idea sometimes to remove the handle so that that gasket in there doesn't get too hot, because you can distort it. But I just opened up the spigot and that should let it air out. Alright, while we're waiting for that to cool down, we're going to connect into our water line, which comes up through the floor and stops right there kind of by my level. So what we need to do is tie on to our line. So they make a tool that looks like this, which works real good for cutting the PEX. you just want to line it up with your pecs where you need to cut, and it kind of ratchets, and you just want to make sure it's straight, and it should cut right through just like that. And what we're going to do is tie a pecs fitting from this pecs onto the pecs coming out of the floor, and I'll show you that in a second. So this is the pecs fitting. This is just a pecs to pecs coupler. I have my ring on, and I'm just going to slide that through there and then move the ring. You want to keep the ring about 1/8 of an inch from the end of the pecs, and that's where you'll crimp it on. So I'm going to crimp this side, and then I'll show you how to crimp it onto the ring down there for that one. Alright, I have my crimper. It seems to be pretty good as far as the camera angle. So we'll try and crimp this thing so you guys can see how this actually works. Just going to line it up where you want it. You can lightly crimp it on there, or just hold that round thing and then crimp it in place. You just want to make sure it's in the right spot when you get that thing crimped, and once that goes together, that's it. That's a watertight connection. So we're going to bring the pecs down and connect it to the other piece, and it looks like from this camera angle you guys should be able to see that, and I'll try and zoom in for you and show you this connection. Hopefully I'm not in the way of the view. So we'll bring this down, and I'm just making a nice sweeping turn again. We're going to line up the two pieces of pecs, butt together the coupler, line up that ring right where you want it. Take your crimper, get it exactly where you want it, about 1/8 inch from the end of the pecs. And when you're happy with where you have it, crimp it together, and that's it. Another watertight connection. And we're just going to use something to connect this pipe right to this stud here, and that should be fine. So I'll show you what we have. Coming out of the floor, it runs underground, and you can kind of see where we dug. It goes pretty long run to the back of my shed, and then it comes in underground to the shed under the slab. I didn't want it to come in the front of the shed. That way when I store the hose, it'll sort of be on the side of the shed. That's why I'm running it up. I'm keeping it away from my electrical, which comes in the shed right here. I want to make sure I stay away from that. Goes up the wall, goes up across the top through all the studs, and then it's gonna come back down where we have our shut off, and then outside we're gonna tie it into the spigot next. So here's a look at the spigot. It goes, you know, you're running a piece of copper inside here like that, and that's where you see my solder, and then this is copper to pecs. So all I have to do is take my pecs fitting and basically fit it on there and crimp that, and that's how you go from copper to pecs. Alright, so we're going to crimp that, and then we're going to show you how to tie in this pecs to the rest of the pecs, and that's going to be it for this installation. Alright, so what we're going to do here is just get this crimped on here the way we want it. So we'll line up our little collar that'll get crimped, and I'm going to crimp this right in place, and then we'll stick it through the wall. I can't put on the elbow yet because this thing's going to get an elbow attached to it. I can't put on this elbow yet because I have to run this thing through the wall, through the hole. The elbow won't fit. So once this is through the wall, we hook on the elbow, and then the other end of the elbow is the pipe that I ran above the garage door. So we're just going to tie on this elbow, and that'll be it. Alright, so now we're on the outside of the shed, and basically what we're going to do is slip this through the hole. Pretty nice tight fit. So we got that in there. We just want to make sure that it's exactly the way we want it. And we're going to take some galvanized or deck screws, galvanized like drywall screws. That way they're not going to rust. And we're going to run in our 2 screws just to hold our spigot in place. That should take care of it. And then we're going to go inside and make our last connect. Alright, so this should be it. Basically what we're going to do is hook up this corner here, and we're going to join together the spigot with our water line. We're having like a freaking windstorm outside. At least my shed didn't fall over yet. Alright, so I'm just going to cut this with my cutters about right where I want it to be. And we want to make sure that that cut's pretty straight. We're going to put a ring on one side, a ring on the other side, and then those two get crimped with your corner. And I'm just going to angle the corner whichever way it needs to be to join with this piece of PEX. So we'll just get this. I think it's going to be easier to put this on first and then fit this one together. Definitely a real tight fit here. What I'm going to do is remove this metal plate. That might give me a little more flexibility just to get in here. There we go. Try not to lose my screw. So we'll take this, line it up where we want it. We'll get this crimped and then I'll force it back into the hole. So the first thing I'm going to crimp is actually going to be this one. So we'll take our crimpers, put it in place, click, and hopefully I can get in here to crimp this one or we're going to have issues. If I can't get in there, I'm going to have to extend one of these pieces. There we go. Alright, looks like we got it crimped. That's a tight angle. Try and get it again. Just can't seem to get in there that way. I got it crimped, so it should hold. I'm just trying to reinforce it. Make sure it's tight all the way around. And you know, I'll check it if it leaks. I'll have to add a little bit more onto this pipe here so I can get at it a little better. That's the problem with PEX. It's sometimes tough to get into those areas. But there's nothing I could really do because I couldn't slide it through the hole with that elbow on there. At least I don't think I could have. So we'll look for a leak right there. But I think it'll be fine because it crimped. Alright, we're on there, we're good. And that completes this job. So, I'll give you one more look at what we got. It comes in down here, goes up, snakes through there, goes across the top, around the garage door, comes back down the side, there's a shut off there, and then right out to the spigot. So that's it, and that's how you do PEX. You can subscribe to my videos. I'm going to show you how to hook this water line up to your house next.